It ain't working. Here we go. Okay, so this is January the 4th, 2021. And welcome,
Yes.
Tracy, and this is exciting to see you again. It's been 4 weeks too long.
See you guys.
And
You've been busy too. You've been doing a lot of hiking,
yeah, I did. Oh,
you guys.
very cold. It was like 20 degrees with chill up there. And no heat. It was a night to remember. Yeah, I think
I bet.
it was definitely the coldest night I've ever had. Yeah,
Mm.
I thought the dawn was never gonna come. Yeah,
I bet.
like dark and cold. And yeah, anyway, that was quite good. Yeah. But I got some good prayers done and some good connection into the magma, and yeah, it felt really good. And yeah.
Good.
So you've been
Yes.
also doing your prayers. I see on the 21st. You sat for
Yes.
2 hours and did your thing there. How did that go?
It went well. It was an amazing experience. It was, one of those, you were really grateful you showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there for about six hours. And I understand the 20, because it was about 20 degrees out Fahrenheit. And but I was prepared for that. I had brought sleeping bag to put around me, and I had a fire where you didn't have a fire.
Right.
And I had my husband had put up, tarps just in case it would rain or actually snow, in case it would snow, but it actually didn't snow. It sleeted and rained, but I stayed dry, so I was okay. So it was powerful, of course, as it always is, as you know, when you're doing the prayers out there in
Right.
nature and yeah,
Right. Right.
on the earth. It's a good place to do your prayers.
Really connect. Yeah.
Yeah,
Totally.
you
Well,
know.
awesome. Awesome. Wow. So you were cold too, man. My. Yeah. Yeah. It was, and I'm Hawaii. It's like I'm not used to anything less
I
than
know.
70 degrees. Good, good, good.
Exactly. You're not acclimated to it like we are, because we've been having the snow and the cold for a
Yeah,
while now. But for
yeah,
you go from tropics to winter in like, a half hour or so, and
yeah,
that's or a
yeah. An
little
hour.
longer, but
Yeah, it's
yeah. I
amazing.
mean, that's a significant change.
Hmm. Yeah, the uh, Neptune was below, but Saturn and Jupiter were still going down. Of course, they were still aligning on the first or that night, and there was an incredible sunset. I'm right at the crater. The cabin's only like 100 feet from the crater rim. It drops down, I don't know, 400 feet. So the cabin's set back a little bit, and somebody built a sort of rock curved wall that you could get in behind and get out of the main gale, and and blankets and stuff. So I sat on that for a while and watched the sun going down and watched the stars coming down, and then the moon was getting up later, of course, then, and yeah, it was frigging awesome. What a way
Beautiful.
spend New Year's Eve. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
So now we've got like the vision. I think there's a mass consciousness on the planet from 2020. As to what's going on
Yep.
and stuff. So this year is really about putting that vision into action for people and really holding their own grounds. And so that's what I've been praying more for, is to activate those people or just get them who are on the fence and in positions of power to do their jobs, and get off the fence and do
Yes.
jobs for humanity, not for the bank. And yeah, so it's going to be interesting. Yeah, we'll find out on Wednesday what
Yeah.
happens in the U.S. Huh? Exciting, dramatic Crap.
Right. You said it in a nice way. I would have said it with other words, but
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. What a shenanigan. So let's go
Yeah,
take a
crazy.
look. Yeah, totally. Let's go take a look. That's awesome to see you again, like I mentioned early on, Trace. And I'm glad you're doing so well. Yeah, so let's take a look at what's been going on, and see if I can open things up. Took me a while to remember how to do all of this.
Just had one day that was a bad day. That was all.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, the knee popped out, right?
Yeah, it's really weird because it kind of moved in another direction and I could not pop it back in. So it was in a lot of pain, because it's bone on bone and I don't know what it caught itself on, but oh, whoa. And that's the worst it's been ever. So, but I did 2 applications and it was fine and didn't have to worry after that.
Oh,
Just
good.
one time
Oh,
in
good.
all 4 weeks.
Right. Right. That's awesome. And so let's go. Let's see. I can't remember how to do any of this. It's only been a month and I forgot. Share screen. Okay, share screen. Whiteboard. Photo. Yeah, there we go. That looks like it. I hope it is. Yeah. Oh, okay, we got it. Your internet connection, which has been rock solid until now, has gone unstable. Well, that's not new. So this is January 3rd, 2021. This is actually a 4-week review that we're looking at here. And 4 days in a healing crisis. Was that just the knee related?
Just one day. Just the one day.
1 day. And what were the other days here?
Why do I have 4 days on there? How many days was healing crisis? 4? Should say 1.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Huh, that's weird.
Yeah. Let's see
I must have hit the wrong button.
Okay, so good. That's what I was, I'd looked through this before, but I'd missed that one. And I went like, oh, that's strange.
Yeah, I obviously, when you're, who knows? Who knows? I obviously meant 1 and it hit the 4, but it's 1. So this 1 day.
Yeah, I may as well just add image. I think I can quickly change that.
I think what I was doing there was I was looking up above, thinking, oh yeah, it was 4 weeks. So I put the 4 there and went down to the next line. Didn't actually get it because right above it says 4 weeks. So I was thinking, well, how many days? I was thinking, well, yeah, I was going to put 4, probably 4 weeks. Yeah, just make that a 1 because it's just that 1 day on the 18th.
Yeah, we got it changed now. So
good.
Yeah, we got that corrected. Right knee. Do you know what's triggered that?
Yeah.
And it was the same, and it was the same type of pain as you had been experiencing over the year?
Yeah. I mean, my knee can hurt, but this one was so severe. I'm not sure if it was so weird because I was sitting at the computer, with my legs down and I twisted one way and it just went zing. So I don't know if I hit something in there or whatever, but it locked. So then I went, oh, now I'm in pain and I can't get it to move. So I'm sitting there thinking, all right, what am I going to do? Because I didn't have, the scanner at the computer. So I said, okay. So I started rubbing it. I started thinking about my body taking care.
Well, that was strange. Okay, I think we're back.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so we're talking about.
Okay, I won't tell the story.
Oh, okay, maybe that's what it is. So we were.
Okay, never mind.
I want to hear the story. I don't like the censored version. So we were talking. You were talking about you twisted it one way and then it just locked
The
up
knee.
at the scanner.
Yeah. Well, and then I couldn't get it back. And then of course it was in pain for a lot. But eventually I could work it and work it. So I could finally get it back so I could get up and go and be in a chair so that I could start using the Scanar. And that's what I did right away. So I kind of hobbled back over to where I could, where the Scanar is, and the accessories are, and put it on, cranked her up to 200, I think it was 200 hertz, 42 power, and did it for 30 minutes. And then I did it for another 30 minutes. So I did it for a whole hour for that.
Mm-hmm. And that was all at
And it took care of it.
oh, great. Why would I want to upset in the middle of a call?
What?
I don't know. Anyway, so excellent. So that was all 1 hour at 200 hertz.
Right.
Okay. Good.
With 40, there was about 42. I think I have it down below.
Yeah, there we
I
go.
did 30 minutes after and 30 minutes. Oh yeah. And then I did 30 minutes in the evening. So I've got I got my 60 minutes wrong. That should be 90 minutes. I applied 30 minutes after the onset. And then I forgot I did it a second time.
Right.
So I did 60 minutes right after the onset. And then I went to 30 minutes in the evening. So it would be a total of 90 minutes there. Wow. I'm off on my numbers today. And then up here, up above where it says applied 30 minutes after, that would have been 60 minutes.
This one?
Yeah, right there. Yeah. That would have been 60 minutes. I had forgotten. I actually felt, you know what, I'm going to do it double. I figured more was better.
Right.
But it took care of it.
During the hour of application, what were the sensations that you were feeling in the knee?
Well, I just felt the tingling.
Okay.
And I distracted myself. I distracted myself. I put something on the television and was watching something so that I wasn't paying attention. So
okay, good. I was just wondering if there's any data there. It's interesting how that little tweak threw it out so much, because you've been doing the steps and you've been walking.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm doing all that. Didn't have problems with those except for on that day and the next day. Then of course I didn't, because I actually probably could have done it the next day, but I was kind of concerned that, you know what, I'll give it a day to rest. So
right. Good. Okay. Okay, got the day. Lost 15 pounds. Bam.
yes, I did. Although, remember that first 2 weeks, I did 9 pounds,
Yes.
and I was like sailing high. Well, ever since then, it's been just a little bit every day, not every day, every week, because I have been really good at weighing myself every week. Because remember before I just wouldn't weigh myself. So it was only 6 pounds since then. So I was like, that's weird, but maybe it just takes longer for me to get. And I didn't even cheat. Even on the holidays, I didn't. My husband was having the cookies from his mother and the pies and all that. And I said, nope, I have a bigger yes, so I can say no. I was proud of myself. And I made my own cookies. I made my cookies out of dates and ground, and I put I in my food processor, I put in a cup of organic almonds, did it so then it looks like a flour almost. And then I put in the dates, and then I put in a little bit of lemon, fresh lemon.
Right.
Did it all up. Then I took a little ball of it, rolled it up, pressed it down, and of course they were refrigerator cookies. They were non-baked refrigerator cookies, and then I put in there, and then peanut butter, and then natural peanut butter, without any of the sugar, any of that, the whole organic, and put that in it. So it was kind of like a peanut butter, a non-baked peanut butter date cookie, and it was good. So I had something that was like sweet, but it wasn't. You can have the dates and peanut butter and almonds on the diet. So at least I didn't. So I wasn't tempted. You had said, make sure you don't get tempted. So I made sure. I figured out a way I could have something.
Oh wow, that's so awesome. Yeah, Linde makes frozen crusts and desserts like that with nuts and grinds them all up. Or
oh, cool.
She takes them and grates them and just grates them on a grater, and she's got like a big pile of grated almonds or whatever it is that she's been grating. And then maybe you could tell the story.
Yeah, just mixed nuts and something sweet like dates or figs and a little bit of lilikoi juice. We have so much lilikoi harvest that we always put a few drops of lilikoi in everything. So that gives it the tart taste, what you did with the lemon. Yeah, but great recipe.
Yeah, we can relate. Awesome.
Good,
Right. That's awesome. Yeah. So let's go back. I think we finished there, but let's just double check. Yeah, okay. And so are you doing the epi-paleo or paleo?
Epi-paleo.
Right.
And there's, and I struggle with the meat thing, having been a vegetarian for a very long time in my life, and then switched when I got that muscle issue for all those 6 years. And I just depend on my husband because he did not do much cooking. He did the takeout stuff. So I just gave up on the vegetarianism. And then went back on since, just before you and I started training together. And I still struggle with that because my whole reason for not, it's not a health reason I was a vegetarian, although I was healthy, but it was because I didn't want another sentient being to die for me to eat. So I was perfectly okay to just do, the protein and I was okay with eggs because they were not yet fertilized. They were not yet an egg. I'm an animal. So I was okay with that. And I'm okay with milk products, because I'm not killing anybody for it. Right. Although the eggs is stretch, but, but it's not, and they were, of course, are always farm fresh and they aren't fertilized. So, yeah, that's been, and then I found out recently that I could do, I think it's called honey. It's not the honey. It's called, it's the eggs of the bee that for some reason, when they take it out, they weren't ones that were fertilized. And so because they weren't fertilized, someone's at the door. That's okay. Because they weren't fertilized, then you're able to use those and they make that into, I can't remember the name of it. So I was going to look it up and figure that one out. Maybe put that into my diet as well. Because it is part of, raw honey is part of the paleo. So,
right.
So we'll see. But that's supposed to be one of the best proteins in the planet.
Yeah.
Is from, I can't remember what it's called. You know what it's called?
Yes, I do, but it's not coming. It's like a powder, right?
Yeah, me neither. Oh, well.
Yeah, it's like a yellow powder.
Well, it can be a powder, but you can also get it.
Oh.
But you can not the you're talking, no, it's from where they deposit the grub, where she deposits the grub, but in the people that do this, it's not fertilized. And so it's a different, it doesn't even have a honey taste or anything. It's a different protein, which to me, it piqued my interest. I want to know what that would be. It's supposed to be one of the best proteins you can get. Well, I'm gonna guess it's probably really expensive too, because think about how many of those little ones you gotta get.
Yeah,
Have just like a
yeah.
fourth a teaspoon or something, you know. But I'm gonna check it out anyway. I'll
Right.
tell you the name. I can let you know when I remember.
You'll be getting grubs next.
That's exactly right. No, I don't think so. Although when I lived in Venezuela, and I would go out to the jungle or selva with some of the native groups. I spent a lot of time, you know, there learning from them. Um, the one time, well, it was really interesting. One time, the little girl, she was so excited, come, 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 come. Of course, it was difficult because some of them didn't speak Spanish, but so I went and they had a tree had come down they'd been waiting for, and it was full of grubs. And because I was their guest, I got to have the first one. And it was about, let's see if I can show it. It was about that big and white. It was chubby and this big, and it's wiggling. And she's going, and I took it and I went, it's wiggling in my mouth. And I said, I'm not chewing. I just downed it. And I didn't get sick. I did not get sick, but that was like one of those moments where you didn't want to embarrass them. You didn't want to go against their protocol because that was their way. You give the guests the first one. They were so excited because they could share it with me. And I smiled. Thank you. Thank you.
I think those cultures have a real good time doing that because they did the same to me in the Ituri rainforest. Yeah, we went up. They went up a tree and they pulled all this honeycomb down, and in it, like you're saying, it was full of grubs. And that night we were.
So you know.
Yeah, that night we were partying around the fire, and they said, have some honey. And it was like all these chewy chunks in there that were just like, well, that's not honey. So I got my grub fest too.
Yes. Maybe that might be just the way.
Yeah, I think they must have a laugh at that and our reaction to it. I mean,
I'm going to guess they do. Yes, probably they do.
Yeah, you're going to give us Christianity. We're going to give you grubs.
Exactly. And of course, you know, and I don't blame them, you know.
Right. We've been
not that we're part of that because we weren't there for that, but
yeah, we've been shoving Christianity down their throats. Now they're shoving grubs down ours.
Yes, exactly. That's a good way to put it. That is a really good way to put it. Oh my God, I love that.
That is funny. Oh yeah. Oh my God. What a grub story.
Oh. Yeah. So I just don't know that I'll be at Grubs yet. I haven't recovered it. That was a long time ago.
You know, one of the things that I've been thinking about, you know, in terms of we'll move to that in a moment, in terms of these face readings. As you know, I did them for a year and a bit. I forget exactly. And I haven't done them for a year. And I'm going like, oh, it would be interesting to do them prior or during the hike, or, you know, when I'm up at those, just to get some data, how things are changing.
Good idea.
In that different environment. So this morning I sat down and I went like, okay, let's just get a reading. And I did a reading and I was really surprised because here, I don't know if it's going to come out, but anyway, my numbers were 1 point difference. I mean, 16, 16, 17, 16, and 18, 17. You know, it's like, oh.
That's amazing.
And
that's amazing.
I didn't actually regularly, I didn't see, I haven't looked at the data, but I don't recall that sort of balance ever before for me. So something's going okay. Or just maybe I got lucky readings this morning.
Yes, it is.
So I'm going to keep on with that and and share that data with you later on. Talking about sharing data, let's go to, let me see, that one. Okay, share screen. It is there. Good. And so now we've got,
I like your bird was cheering you in the background.
yeah, we got these beautiful doves. They come in the mornings
Yes.
and then we feed them, and they're happy little creatures. Okay, so
Yeah.
why did that
They
blow
were
up?
cheering your balance.
Right. Oh, I see. I'm moving to the next image. How do I get this? Oh, maybe that way. Nope. Yes. Okay, here we go.
It should be 31, 32, 33,
Yeah, there we go.
34.
What? Hang on, I've opened the wrong file. Yeah,
There it is. Nope, down further.
I've opened the wrong file. Hang on a moment. Where did it go? Should be that one. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Oh my God, I didn't save it? Oh boy, hang on a moment. Oh, it's further down. There we go. We got,
Playing hide and seek.
yeah, really, right at the bottom of the pile. Yeah, so similar readings, right? All within, yeah. 7. So we had on the week, what is it? 31, we had 24, 15, 20, 18. Was there anything in there that I'm missing? Okay, this is going to lead me to the next question, or the next subject. You know, one of the things that we have to be careful of when we're doing this stuff, maybe I wasn't sharing the screen. I wasn't, was I?
No, but
Sorry
that's
about
okay.
that. Sorry about that. Now I've got it clicked on. Okay, one of the things that I don't want us to get dependent on these numbers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're good data and they've helped a lot over the year. And I'm just wondering at some stage, maybe we should be weaning off them for a bit or not doing so many. I don't know what you think, you know, from a science point of view, we don't want the body and the mind to get into the trap of like, okay, these are great readings, blah, blah, blah. We want it to be stable without having the readings, right? We want to know that inner confidence that things are balanced. And I guess the question here is, and now they're not going out, would be, the question would be, are you aware of the numbers being off significantly before you start to take the readings?
Nope.
Right. And that's,
No, because I just allow myself to take them. You know, I do not pay attention to, I haven't even thought about paying attention to if they're off or not. All I do is just do them. And what I say is when I see that they are 3 or over, I say, oh, good, I get to balance. So then I go, okay, good, we get to balance. And then I balance my brainstem and then I forget about it. So I know I realize that for me, I like doing them because I don't pay attention to anything that's going on because I know it's going to balance if for whatever reason, like the knee
right.
happening or something happening is off, I'll know that, because I could feel it. I could feel it if I had a headache or if I didn't sleep enough or all that kind of stuff. But I don't, it isn't something that when I go to do it, I said, oh, I bet I'm going to be up. No, I know better than to, because what we think about can often change our results. So
Right.
I'm very good because of having done the scientific studies and stuff towards my doctorate, that you have to remove yourself from it. So I have purposely not, I've purposely not thought a thing of it
Right. Right.
as I do it. The only thing I think of once I've taken the readings is, oh, good, I get to balance myself. That
Yeah.
always feels, it's like, oh, that's great. Even though I didn't know I was off, cool. I get to come back to balance.
Right. You see, over the year, we tightened it up from 5 to 4 to 3 points difference, right? Now, in the
3 points, yeah.
classical scanner work, they don't even bother with anything less than 5 points.
Okay.
Now, that's not because that's more, I think, from a practical point of view of, a doctor working or a person working on somebody else. And so that's the way that they've always done it, that I know of. And I don't think Professor Ravenko's changed anything in that scope. The difference, of course, is the way that we've been approaching this is a very long-term analysis, right, or study.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens with that, of course, is we have way more data than would normally be collected. As I tightened up from 5 to 4, I don't know when that was, say June, and to 3, maybe it was August. I don't know. I don't remember the dates, but we could look them up here. I think I marked them down on this sheet. But as I tightened them up, it was like, oh, we can. What I was wanting to do there for you was to really get that brainstem really aligned, right, with the body.
Yes.
Because you've gone through 6 years or whatever it was of being basically house
Right.
on lockdown. We didn't call it that lockdown back then, but
No.
I wanted to really establish if that would be a possibility to even maintain 3 points difference, which significantly you went into balance at that 3 points. Now, what should be happening is that obligata here, once that's, you've really got it at a very fine tune now, right? It's holding. I mean, the only obvious thing that I see here is when you get less sleep, you have more readings, but that's not necessarily across the board, but say 12:20, no, 12:10, you had 4.5 hours in there and you had 4 readings. And over here, we had 4.5 hours and there were 5 readings.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
And that would make sense, right? Because the brain stem doesn't have its normal, whatever the processing, is it dream processing time or sleep processing, rejuvenation, all of that stuff, right? So that kind of makes sense. And I think that's what happened to me when I was doing my reading as well, is that influenced it. What really influenced it for me was the gluttony in me. And that was because I was still struggling with that. And eating too much for me really compromised. Like if I took the day off, so to speak, and went to the beach and had we'd always take good food, but there was, instead of fasting at the beach, I was eating at the beach, right? And that would really be detrimental to my system, and it really skewed the numbers.
Okay.
And but you've got a good handle on obviously you've got good handle and discipline on the eating. So congratulations on that. That's a huge one, as we know. Yeah, I'm just thinking aloud here for the next few months, right? I'm just thinking aloud here uh, for you, you know, never, it doesn't really matter whether we know the scientific principle. We always influence the outcome. We can't be separate from that.
Yeah, that's right. That's it. Unless we have a blind study, and doing it by myself, there's no way I can do a blind study, even if I blindfold myself. That could happen.
Right, can't read the reading.
I'm too aware.
Yeah. Ouch. Damn it. Have to dumb you down. Yeah, I want to put that to you, from a scientific principle, what's your feelings? I mean, you have more training and experience than I do in this.
Well, I think that this is just for a personal look at it. This is not scientific from my perspective. This is documentation to see how your brainstem is going, based on knowing there are some flaws in the study, because I'm definitely aware of what's going on. So even though I go in and say, okay, let's get the readings, and I don't even think about it, it still doesn't matter, because I'm involved in it. I cannot remove myself from it because I know exactly what we're doing. So do I influence it? Maybe sometimes I do, but I don't. I obviously I do, but I think it's very helpful. It's like, why do people write down their weight, right? Because ultimately, if they're losing weight, they're going to lose weight, but they do it so they have some markers.
Right.
So we've got, the different markers to help us look at where we're at. So I see this as a wonderful tool to do that. And it also balances your brainstem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know how long that gets held, because we only do it, morning and evening. And lots of things happen between that morning and that evening and that morning, know. If you had a lousy dream, you're going to have different recordings. So this is something that it's just as you said, it's a look at what's going on. It is a scientific methodology. So that is true. It's a methodology. And so I think that is helpful. Number one, so that there's a feeling of, for the person that's doing it, whether it's me or some of the other people, for the person who's doing it, they have a comfort zone in knowing they've balanced, right? And for you to be able to take a look, because you know way more about these numbers than I do. I don't know anything about these. I just know that, what I'm doing. So you really have a good feel as to what that means about, are you balancing how many this side, how many that side? I don't know any of those parameters, but for you, that's working. So I personally like the comfort of it now, so doing them for me, there's just this knowing that my brainstem is, and I keep saying, I know brainstem, thank you. And I always say that when I'm done. I don't say anything ahead of time. I don't think anything, but afterwards I always thank my body for coming to balance, because I think that's really important, that we recognize the cells and everything that's within us, and give them, let them know how appreciative you are that they're doing such a good job.
Next question that comes to mind now is,
but do I need to keep doing it? Is that what you were asking? Do I think I need to keep doing it? Personally, for me, yes, but but I don't have to send them into you.
Right. Now, the reason why I stopped is because I wanted to see what would happen when I stopped. Right.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's true.
Wanted to do it for a year, but then I didn't take any measurements. Right. So I really didn't know what was happening in the brainstem, but I know in my lifestyle.
You changed, yeah.
It did validate the overeating stuff very easily. But anyway, the next question I have, do you I don't know how to process this data. If we were to find somebody who's a statistician to look at this and to see, just to get some bell curves on it and to do it from that sort of
Right.
analysis, that might be worth,
You'd have to have more information.
yeah.
You would really, if you wanted to make it a pure study, you would have to have more information. You would have to be recording what they're eating, after recording what they're doing. I mean, it would be a pain in the butt for the person having to write the stuff down, quite frankly, from my perspective, because there's so many variables that we are not accounting for. All we're accounting for is how we feel in the morning and how we feel in the evening. Why we feel that way and why we don't know. It all depends on, the issues that we record. But I'm not recording, had a lousy dream, stubbed my toe. I got mad at so-and-so today. A lot of things that could affect it,
Right.
I mean, and of course, I work very hard at staying balanced in my life anyway. It's just part of the path I walk, so that I'm always honoring where other people come from. So, I mean, my husband gets sometimes, I just like to have a good drag out fight. And I say, well, you can do that with yourself.
Yeah.
Because I say, I'm not in charge of you. You're in charge of you. You have, maybe there's some annoying things I do. And I'm really grateful when you point it out, but you got to find your own balance. You got to find your own way, just as I'm working on that with myself, and some days I remember some incidences that weren't so pleasant to remember from the past, and I have to learn how to process that and release it so that it doesn't stay balled up in my energy. And I'm going to tell you at the end, something new I learned from one of the shamans I work with, which I thought might help your practice. So I just started it yesterday because we just had a conversation a couple of days ago. After all this is going on, they'll get a hold of me. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. So I'm really interested in keeping the statistics going to see if it makes a difference. But I'm getting pretty good statistics anyway. But so how does that study help? I believe it's a personal tool that allows the person, because I don't think a lot of people walk their lives in balance. It allows them a moment to know the balance that they're working towards and how it's come about. But it's, of course, much more involved, as you know. That's why your readings were so good. You've been doing miraculous things with yourself and Linde as well. You're doing the hiking, your food, you're taking, and in taking care of yourself, you're taking care of the earth. And then you have a relationship with the earth, and that changes the balance too. So I don't know if you could give it to a statistician. I don't know that. I would have to think on that.
Yeah.
I will have to think on it.
Yeah, I was wondering if we could take it to the next level. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, thank you for your thoughts on that. That's
I see. Well, okay. So you mean going down to 2 points?
No, I don't think that's I don't think that's the way to go. I think it would just I don't think, relative. Here's what I'm saying. Here's my thoughts on it. Because the Russians developed these protocols in the first place at 5 points, and one of the instruments, I believe, may be at 4 points, but I haven't actually tested it with a voltmeter. But one of those, but they always stuck to that 5 points because that was significant enough. Now we're tightening. I don't think we need to tighten it more than 3. I was kind of pushing the 3 on you as an experiment. Excuse me. But I was using
No, I don't mind. I'm the right person.
Yeah, I was using it to see if that would be possible for you to hold
grateful.
3 points, right? And you did, right? So that was, and like you're saying now, well, shall we go to 2? Well, that is a good question. Maybe that's the way we need to go.
You have to decide that because I don't know the,
Well, we're in
okay, we could do
we're,
that.
we're in new
I'll
territory.
try it, but I would rather wait until I do this. Yeah, yeah, you're right. We're new territory. That's a good way to put it.
Right? In 2021, that's great.
So,
Yeah, 2 points.
sure, I can go to 2 points.
What do you think, Lindy?
We'll try it, see what goes on, how it goes.
Yeah,
Do you think that's do you think it's going to be a significant difference from 3? That's all.
I have no idea.
That would
Right?
be the thought.
It's just a new, it's a new space. It's a new place.
We don't know.
But I don't want you to be wasting your time because you're going to be getting too many readings. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Let's stay at 3. I feel comfortable staying at 3 for now.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because I'm just starting, even though I had wonderful readings this morning. And it was after I did this, because one of the ways that balance is kept, and there is a physical part of it that makes it is definitely a science part of it, even though I could see the science part of it when he was talking about the spiritual practice.
Right.
I could see the science part of it. What you do is in the morning, you lay down on your back on the floor. Okay, get yourself, which for me was a big deal, but I'm doing it. Okay, for 2 days though, only 2 days so far. So you get down on the back on the floor, get yourself centered, then you take a deep breath and you push yourself over onto your stomach as you blow out. Then you breathe in, you roll yourself onto your stomach, breathe out. Then you continue. It's like, I call it log rolling.
Right.
And then you breathe in again, and then you roll again and breathe out as you're rolling. Then you'll be on your stomach, then you'll be back on your back. Then you breathe in again and you blow out as you're rolling. And
Wow.
for me, I can only go so far in the
Yep.
living room. I can't go out and roll on the yard because it's snow. So I make it, let's see, I make it 3 turns is all I make it when I get to the other side. And then I roll back the other way. Now you start out for doing that every morning for a minute. It's not much, but it is a bit.
Yeah.
Then you're gradually going to work up to 11 minutes of rolling in the morning. Okay, here's what it does. You know, all this energy that we have packed in our body, and, we have I have a hip that's an issue. I have a knee that has an issue. Somebody else has yeah, I know. There we go. So you get energy packed up in your body, and it needs to be released. Now, the Scanar is a great place in which it does, but this one will naturally do it. It will release it, but it's a bigger thing than that. All of the emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental places where we bind up our energy. I bind up our energy with our thoughts, bind up our energy, with our experience that have caused a blockage of energy. This is the one and only way, according to a shaman. It doesn't mean that's reality of all priests, but he's also, so that this particular shaman is a biophysicist. He actually studied it, but but he was a shaman first, and he wanted to learn about the body, so he became a biophysicist, which I think is amazing.
Right.
And he wanted to find out what the things were that he had learned from training in his tribe. And so now he's been able to realize with the testing he's done, because he's got labs and stuff like that. But he said, what our ancestors have been doing for a long time, any of our ancestors, they've known this all along. A child knows it immediately. They roll all the time. They don't have any of the issues we do. They're rolling around all the time. We might have gotten on the floor with them when we were But now we don't do that anymore, right? And he said he's been working with an 81-year-old woman. He's been working with a 310-pound woman. He's been working with, I mean, people of various stages, that can roll. I mean, some people couldn't roll. The woman that was 300, she was almost 400 pounds. I think he said, she couldn't get out of her bed.
Whoa.
So he had her roll in her bed. So every morning, all she could do was roll one way and roll back, roll one way, roll back. Within 4 months, she was out of that bed and had lost 50 pounds. Just by that. Of course, she had a lot to lose. But he wasn't doing 50. He wasn't doing the weight. He wasn't doing anything with her on that. He just wanted her to release all of that energy that was stored up in her. And that was one of the reasons she had gotten so heavy. Well, my energy was stored up in that muscle issue, right? Right.
Mm-hmm.
You helped me to release so much of that. But there's a whole lot up here,
Sure.
We all have our scars from spiritual stuff, scars, family, emotional stuff, scars, we already know the physical stuff. The scars, our mental stuff is probably way out beyond, unless we're doing what you're doing or going out and doing our meditations and stuff like that. But even in that, we can get clogged up. It releases all of that so that you can be in your center.
Yeah.
Now I'm just starting. And so we'll see. But
that answers that
the
question.
other side of it,
Yeah.
immediately thought of you. Hold on. The other side of it, I immediately thought of you because you're doing that work towards having the younger staying younger longer. He mentioned this. I've not said anything to him about that. He said, you're going to notice you're going to be much more younger. You will be younger.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so then of course I say immediately because I'm a woman, oh, good, am I get rid of all my lines and all my wrinkles? And he laughed. He said, you might. He goes, you might. He said, but you are going to reverse some of the aging that you've taken on.
Right.
And I went, I got to make sure I tell you because you're working on that. And it's as simple as that. So you're going to start at 1 minute and then you're going to work yourself up to 11 minutes.
Right.
So that you're rolling, that take deep breath. Isn't that fascinating? So I'm trying.
It really is.
Just
I mean,
why? Because he's my shaman teacher, but because I recognized the work we've been doing, it's so complementary to release that energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, thanks for sharing. What's his name or her name?
What is his name?
Yeah.
Randy Vettenheimer.
Can you repeat that?
Dr. Randy Vettenheimer.
Cool, cool.
Dr. Randy Vettenheimer.
Vettenheimer?
Yes, Vettenheimer. But he's a Potawatomi. He has family that's obviously got German, right? But he's Potawatomi, native Potawatomi, because the other half of him is his mother's half is Indian, a Potawatomi.
Right.
Indian. Yeah.
Right.
I think, again, we call by a different name. I call it by a spiritual name. So I'm hoping I've got his last name right. It's Vetten something. I thought could be Vettenberg too. Could be Vettenberg as well, but probably Vettenberg. But yeah, probably it's Vettenberg. Yeah. But you see, but I've known him a long time, so we just know his spiritual name. So
right. Awesome. Yeah, that's a really practical solution for people that are heavy, right? Yeah.
Not only that, it doesn't matter. Anyone, any human being benefits because we all have stored up energy within us.
Yeah.
And it releases it.
Yeah, totally.
But definitely, definitely for someone who can, a heavy person, and I can roll, so it's not an issue for me. Even with my hip, it doesn't cause, but you see, I'm not pulling on my hip. I'm using my arms to move me over, right? Because you either have your arms at your side, If you're a woman, you have your arms up because, of course, we have extra stuff we'll crush when we turn over. So, but men can have it, or you can have it above your head. You can have it at your side or above your head, or women can have it here because we're rolling in a different way, but we're still flat, you know, but we've got extra stuff in our chest. So, is to make you more comfortable. But yeah, and oh yeah, I feel it physically? Yeah, when you don't roll, but it's something you have to decide, everyone. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I wanted to sort of finish up, and I don't know if we have really time to do justice to this session. But over here, we were reviewing goals for the big picture for 2021, right? Did you get to look through that?
Well, one of the things I recognized is I have certain goals spiritually that I'm working on. One of them is to be able to, now I want to do it when they're not letting us go anywhere outside, but I would like to go to certain specific spiritual places, physically be able to go. So there are certain places I would go that are part of or revisit mostly, is part of it. That was my number one is to visit these places. I carry many bundles from many different teachers, and I would like to bring those bundles back to some of the things back to the land where they belong. How's that? So those are the spiritual places I would like to go to. Because, as you're looking forward, you want to make sure that stuff gets taken care of. Right. So that's one of them.
Good.
Of course, we've already talked about get out in the world, that we're already, right now we're not able to, but eventually that will be the get out in the world. And then another one would be to go back to being able to have ceremonial. We have a group, our Blue Heron people, who I would like to go back to doing the ceremonies with them, and we would do ceremonies once a month during the summer. And I would like to get back to doing sweat lodges. So those are big ones for me.
Yeah.
So
that would be awesome. Yeah. Wow. Excellent. And in the meantime, cold showers, are you back in them?
Sure. I do that. Yeah. I may not do them every day. It's really interesting because I was actually taking a shower, just stepping in the cold shower and stepping back out. But I do it like every other day now. It feels like all of a sudden it felt like, you know what, I think I'm okay. I can do it every other day now. So it just felt the right thing to do. So that's what I'm doing. So I accomplished that. Except I don't do it when I have a hip. And then I realized I think they're doing okay with that way of getting ourselves back, to the center with that is really good. And of course, what I do on the other days, just for a week, on the other days, I go out in the snow. How about that? So I don't roll in the snow. But I'll go out with my bare feet.
The big tunnels all the
I
way
know.
down. That'd be funny.
So I go out with my bare feet for as long as I can, and that really makes a difference. It's like, that's been really good, I think.
Yeah. So when you have the cold
I know the
shower,
neighbors must think we're nuts.
when you have a cold shower, how long is it before the heat turns, the inner body heat turns on?
Well, that's why I'm not doing this one. I can go in, turn it on, and I'll get a little jolt, and then I can feel the heat, and I'm done.
Good. Good, good,
It's
good.
really weird. It's really
So the
it's
mitochondria.
almost instantaneous now.
Yeah, excellent, excellent, excellent.
Is that what it's supposed to be? I kind of thought it was. So.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, not so with my feet in the snow yet. So.
That takes practice. Right.
Yeah, it does take practice.
And
But like I told you, when you were young, we take a sauna. We take a sauna. We go out and roll in the snow in the winter. But we just did that. But you're kids, you know.
yeah, it's different, right?
You
Yeah.
know, kids don't feel like what we do. So
So the mitochondria.
I don't think I'll ever go to that.
Fast. That's excellent. Now back to the stairs and the PT exercises.
Yeah.
What's your time or your measure on that?
Well, we just had me doing, we upped it. We had gone from 9 to 11, then 11 to 12, and that's what I've stayed at, doing
Okay.
12 sets.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. And that includes my PT exercises.
Okay. And
I upped it. I started at 5 minutes, went to 10 minutes, went to 15 minutes, and then I do 20 minutes of the PT exercises now.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah.
And how many stair sets?
12.
12. Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Excellent. Wow. Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. You're doing so great. This is awesome. Yeah. And
Oh, I don't think so, you know, because of course, I compare myself to before, you know, so for me, I'm like, geez, I can't wait till I get back to what I used to do. But I have to be kinder to myself. I recognize that, you know, so little by little,
right,
little by little, I'm making it.
Right. So, yeah, Trace, bam, I mean, you're doing so great. This is so fantastic. Yeah, this one
might be because I came from discipline before. So
yeah.
if I was not a disciplined athlete before, maybe this wouldn't be so easy. But you know, when you're in that zone, as we
Really
talk
good
about,
point.
when you get in the zone, then it's like it's like cutting, you know, like cutting butter. You know, it's like, you know, cutting, you know, soft butter. It's so easy.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
right. I have also increased my meat intake in the last month, I guess, and I've struggled with that killing of anything too, and but I tell you, there's something in that meat that I don't get otherwise.
ever well. Okay. Well, that's what I needed to hear, because so there's got to be another way to deal with it, right?
I think there might be, but right for now, I think at our age, and it does make a significant difference to the available energy.
Okay, thing, so look at the age. Okay, that's actually good to know. Thank you.
Another thing we've started this year is, and it's against all my grain, but I've started taking a lot of longevity supplements. And
oh, really?
And
they have such things?
Yeah.
They have such things?
Yes. And we could share that with you. But
cool.
But the problem with that is, for me, it's kind of similar to the struggling with the meat, is that I just have such an aversion to taking supplements and relying on supplemental stuff. That I have, like, you know,
yes.
I'm not used to pounding a handful of pills. It feels sick to me.
Yes, I would agree. And we much prefer it naturally. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some. I've been following some people doing some very advanced longevity supplementation, and that's what Linde was familiar with this already, and and we've listened to some of the tapes, and we go backwards and forwards, but there's a lot of potential out there for us, and to live longer if we choose to. Maybe you don't want to, right? Time out. But that's what.
Well, yeah, depends on your health.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm not one for researching a lot, but the supplements that we're taking have actually are proven longevity, scientifically proven longevity.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well,
Well, at some point we can talk about that.
Yeah, it's a big topic. What I think the best way to do that would be to just distill it down into, it's a big topic. And it involves a lot of science. And so it's for me, it was a very steep learning curve. But anyway, I wanted to give you a heads up on that, because that's something we can start looking at later on. And then the other thing would be,
sure, that sounds good.
Herbs.
Yeah.
I think it's herbs, the supplements.
Yeah.
It's not that far removed from what she believes.
Yeah. We're taking natural herbs. It's not. There are some hybrids.
Oh, okay, good.
Supplements that are out there, which we haven't tried yet. They're kind of expensive. And then the other thing would be the Veterbra, right?
Yes. My money gets drawn down on the 8th. Then I have to give it 4 days. It comes down on the 8th. That's their date that it gets drawn down to my bank. But the bank takes 4 days before they'll release money. Ha! How's that? So we're looking at the 12th.
Okay.
And then I've already talked to my husband about it. I said, I'm going to spend that money to, work with you guys in getting that vertebrae thing. Because I think the older you get too, I think that's a very important one to have. Yeah. And I think of my husband too. So even though he's kind of like a curmudgeon when it comes to any of that, let's take these supplements. No, he's not going to do it. Well, can I use the Skinnar on you? No, I'm going to tough it out. All right, but you don't have to.
Right.
But eventually, I think maybe if his back ends up getting hurt, I think that would be a good thing to have. Now, for me, I'd like to do it on a regular basis, like you said.
Yes.
Yeah. Because of.
Yeah, Linde has hers, and for the longest time, she's doing it for daily. And then, the longest time, it was like years. And then recently she paused.
Because I do running and I feel good anyway. But if I have a little issue like a back problem or so, then it reminds me, I have the Veterbra, so let's do it. And yesterday evening I did it after 3 weeks of pausing, I think, or even longer. And I really enjoyed getting kind of high on it, because it has a special effect on your transiting from being awake to falling asleep. There's an in-between state, which is really kind of almost hypnotic, and it makes me euphoric when I go on the Veterbra. So I have to confess that
I know the space you're talking about.
Yeah. And
what you call the twilight. The twilight zone. Literally the twilight. That's what they call it.
Yeah.
And what?
Excellent.
And it's interesting because when Linde does that, her face is glowing, after the session, and all of the stress has just melted. Yeah, it's pretty beautiful. Yeah. Highly recommend.
I can't wait. Yeah. So we're looking at the 12th, because I will have the money then. And of course it gets pulled down into my bank, which I can doesn't have to come off a credit card. I can send it to you from my bank. However we do that, I could send it via PayPal, but I don't know if you have to pay for it if I send it from my because I can put the funds up on PayPal and send it to you, but I don't know what that does on your end.
What, okay,
I could pay a little more for what it might cost you, because that would be the easiest for me,
okay.
is to just send you directly on PayPal the money, unless you want to check. But then
No,
that takes
no,
a while
no,
for you to
No,
process.
no. Order it from the site, just process the order there.
How do I do that? Just go up on your site,
Yeah, it's there. If you go to the
go
Veterbra
up on
page,
site.
it's on the Veterbra page, the link.
Okay,
And
Veterbra page has the link. Okay,
and then you'll be able to pay by PayPal or by Visa or wherever.
I can.
Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
that's perfect, because then because I would rather do it that way, have
Yeah,
it come directly out of our account to you.
yeah,
So, okay, Vertebrae page, go up on site. There's a link there to purchase it, and it allows me to pay it by PayPal.
yeah. What I'll do is
Okay, and that's the eBody Fusion site, correct?
correct.
Yeah, okay. Just want to make sure.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
on the 12th, we're looking at that
yeah.
happening. So
So what
Good.
I'll do, I'll send
Good,
you the
good.
link. I'll send you the link to the sales page. There we go.
do it on my do it on not on my phone. Do it on my email. Send me the link on email.
Will do.
Yeah. I'd rather it on email.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, so what date are we looking at for next?
See, I
One.
think we had it set.
You haven't said it.
Let me look. I gotta consult the magic orb.
I think we should be looking at,
This is my magic
Yes.
orb. This is what we call the magic orb. Because it's the keeper of many, many things.
yeah,
We haven't made any appointments.
right.
Wait a minute. We haven't made it. We only made it up through today.
Yes, yes,
So now you have to let me know,
right.
because I don't know if we're gonna, I don't know if we're gonna. Of course, once I get on that, then I'll be doing training on that. But
Yes,
however you want to put it, wherever you
Okay.
need it to be.
I think we should, yeah, okay, so if it's 12, 1 week. 15. Okay, here's what I would suggest is we come in on the 1st because it will take
Of
February.
February. Okay.
That would be the Monday again.
Okay.
And because that would
Okay.
also time in with the delivery of the Veterbra to you. Yeah, that fits in good.
Okay.
Now
Okay.
on the Veterbra, there's an offer there of doing Veterbra sessions with Veterbra consults with me. So I pick that up and then we can cover you on that. So yeah, I think that's
Okay. So we can look at the fees as well for that. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Make sure I have the right time. Okay.
Do you remember the price that you were looking at for the Veterbra? Do you have one in your mind? You have a ballpark?
I don't know.
Okay, I was just saying because
I know you had told me.
I dropped the price and it still is dropped. So
1200, you said.
back in the day when you came in on the training a year ago, I was charging 22,400 or something for the same thing that you now get basically for 1,200. So
And 2 strategy sessions.
and then the strategy sessions are extra on that 1,200. I forget the details. I'll have to have a look at it. I have to have a look at it myself.
Okay, because when we talked last time, you had told me 1,200. When I first came in, you were doing that sale thing, which was 999 or whatever.
Mm.
That was when that's what I saw on your site, but you've changed that. So
Yes.
it's 1,200 for the vertebrae
Right.
You said plus 2 sessions.
equipment.
Session.
And then And then what are the sessions? So I make
Let
sure
me just,
I
well, I have to go
have
to,
that
I have to go to
as
the
part
page.
of it.
I don't want to
Yeah.
do this from memory. One moment, I'm just loading it. Huh. Hopefully. We got it slow here.
You looked at it last time and it was.
Yeah, it's not loading fast enough. It's not even begin. Oh, yeah. Yeah, here we are. Slow down. Shock.
Oh, okay.
Vertebra. And yeah. Come on, guys, load up the page by now.
I think you did it last time.
Here we go. Yeah, okay, so I've got the page up here. I'll drop it into the chat. I don't know if you can open the chat, but I'll drop it into the chat right now. Chat.
Oh, okay. That's as long as it's all on the page you show up. So
There we go. It should come through your end. Yeah, there we go. It's 1100.
it hasn't shown up here yet. Wait. It hasn't shown up here yet.
Okay.
So you dropped it into the chat. Was I supposed to push a button or something?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, push a button. Yeah, anyone will work.
Okay.
Oh, did you? Okay, there's a chat function. Okay, I need to stop this recording, otherwise it's just going to get too bulky. So let's finish out the recording and then we'll deal
That's a good idea.
So yeah,
Okay.
good conversations.
Sounds
We
good.
covered a lot of topics this time, and
Yes.
yeah, I think that, you know, congratulations, and you're right. It is because you had that
You.
stamina and that mental game fixed from you being an athlete that has really helped
Correct.
you move into new
Yes.
positions now.
Yeah. It's just. Yeah. It is. It's like if you get out of the track of like if you're a cross country skier and you get outside the track that's there, well, everything goes haywire. But if you stay in that track, once you get back in that track, it's familiar and boy, off you go. It's just like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Excellent. So that's, and then I'm going to finish this